Okay, before we go back to the Gemara, tonight is Rosh Chodesh for the next 2 days. So tonight you have to add Yalav Yove in addition to Alanisim. At night, if you forget either one of them, tonight you don't repeat the Shemona Esrei. Tomorrow morning's davening is basically a regular Rosh Chodesh davening. It's a regular Rosh Chodesh davening, except you add Alanisim in addition to Yalav Yove. The only difference is by Kriyas HaTorah, but if you have the Siddur says clearly what to do. Because it's Rosh Chodesh, you have to have 4 aliyahs. But Chanukah is only, normally we make 3 aliyahs out of Chanukah. So what you do is, tomorrow you make 3 aliyahs out of Rosh Chodesh, and the 4th aliyah is for Chanukah. I mean, it's mamish in the Siddur, it's very clear. But what you do is, you take out 2 Sefer Torahs, one for Rosh Chodesh first, and the second one for Chanukah. The first 2 aliyahs of Rosh Chodesh you put together, so then you end up with 3 aliyahs of Rosh Chodesh. Before you do Hagbah, you bring the second Sefer Torah to the Shulchan. It's on the Shulchan when you do Hagbah for the first one. But you don't say Kaddish yet. So you have 3 aliyahs in the first Sefer Torah, you put the Sefer Torah onto the bima, you do Hagbah. After the Sefer Torah is completely tied and closed, you open up the second Sefer Torah, you call up the 4th aliyah, which would be the 6th day of Chanukah. Then you say half Kaddish, then you do Hagbah, and that. And then, so again, after Shemona Esrei, tomorrow after the repetition, you say complete Hallel. After Hallel, the Chazan says Kaddish Tiskabel. Then you say the Yom and Baruch Nafshi. You say Kaddish, Yosem, and then you have Kriyas HaTorah. It's the regular Rosh Chodesh davening, except Kriyas HaTorah is 2 Sefer Torahs instead of 1, and you have to have Yalav Yove. That's the davening tonight and tomorrow. And Mincha again, you have to add Yalav Yove. Okay, back to the Gemara in Chanukah. Amar Rav Chia bar Ashi, Amar Rav Chia bar Ashi, said the name of Rav. Hamad Ner Shel Chanukah, the one that lights the menorah of Chanukah, Tzarech Levarech, he has to make a bracha. The Gemara is going to say he makes 3 brachas. The one that sees it, in other words, if you're in a situation where you will not be lighting the menorah at all, but you go and you see a menorah, you go see a menorah, so you also have to make a bracha. So now the Gemara explains. Amar Rav Yehuda, Yom Rishon, the first day of Chanukah, Haraya, the one that only sees the menorah, is not going to be lighting. Mevarich Meis makes 2 brachas. The Gemara is going to explain which ones. Umadlik Mevarich Gimel, and the one that's lighting makes 3 brachas. Bikan ve'elach, after the first day, the one that lights makes 2 brachas. The one that sees says only 1 bracha. So the Gemara says, "My mamayit, which one do you stop saying after the first night?" So the Gemara said, "Mamayit's man." You leave out Shechianu. Like we know, that's what we do. The first night we make Shechianu, the other nights we don't make Shechianu. So the Gemara asked, "V'nimitnes, why don't you limit the bracha she'asa nisim?" So he says, "Kol yom me'isa." The miracle happens every day. So bottom line is like this: the first night of Chanukah, if you're lighting the menorah, you make 3 brachas. If you're only seeing the menorah, you're not going to be lighting it all that night, then you make 2 brachas. Afterwards, you leave out the bracha Shechianu. So now the Gemara says, "My mevarich." What bracha does he make? So the Gemara says, "Ashekutzanu mitzvayis v'tzivanu la'ad kner shel Chanukah." In the Gemara, there's a lot of different versions of what the bracha is. In our Gemara, it says Lahadik Ner Shel Chanukah. In Yerushalmi, in Rambam, in many places, it says Lahadik Ner Chanukah. And another opinion says, I think it's the Mashal, says that you make Lahadik Ner Shel Chanukah. One word, Shel Chanukah. But the Brill, our custom is, most of the Chassidish world says Lahadik Ner Chanukah, And there's a lot of reasons Kabbalistically. But many people say Lahadik Ner Shel Chanukah. The reason is, number one, because by Shabbos, we say Lahadik Ner Shel Shabbos Kodesh. We don't say Lahadik Ner Shabbos Kodesh. So what's the difference between Shabbos and Chanukah? That here we say Shel Chanukah, Shel Shabbos Kodesh, and by Chanukah we say Lahadik Ner Chanukah. So first of all, so one reason is because Shabbos candles are made to benefit from. Okay? So therefore, Lahadik Ner Shel Shabbos Kodesh, the candles are really not the mitzvah itself. The mitzvah is Shabbos. The mitzvah is Shabbos. In order to enjoy Shabbos, we have the candles. But by Chanukah, it's forbidden to benefit from the candles. That's one of the reasons why we have a Shabbos. So therefore, what is the candle? It's Chanukah. That's the mitzvah itself, is the candle, because you're not allowed to benefit from it. Then the Matamesha brings down Lahadlik Ner Chanukah Lamed Nun Ches is Nachal, which is the Madreg is up there of Nachal, and there's a lot. That's basically but the halachic reason why the different opinions say that you say Shel Shabbos Kodesh, that everybody says, or Shel Shabbos, because the difference is here you can benefit from the candle, here you can't. That's the difference. But now the Gemara asks a very basic question. This is a question on every rabbinic mitzvah. The Gemara says, "V'heichen tzivanu." We're saying Chanukah is a mitzvah with Rabbonim. It's one of the 7 rabbinic mitzvahs. And we make a bracha shekidshanu b'mitzvahs. It's one that Hashem commanded us. But the question is, the Gemara says, "Heichen tzivanu." We're in Torah that Hashem commanded us to light Chanukah candles. It's a rabbinic mitzvah. How can we make a biblical bracha? So Rav Avya Amar Milei Sasur. Rav Avya says there's a pasuk in Chumash Leisas Mikol Davar Sheyigidu L'Chol Yamin Esmol. The Torah says you have to listen to Bais Din, and you're not allowed to turn away from anything Bais Din says. So therefore, when Bais Din, the Anshe Knesset Haggadah say to make a bracha and to light Chanukah, so you have a biblical mitzvah to listen to them. Or Rav Nachman Chemya Amar Shalavicha V'Yagedcha Zkeinach V'Yemerlach. Ask your father and they'll tell you, and your elders will ask your father and they will tell you. It's Keinach, ask your elders and they'll tell you also. So from there's a positive mitzvah and a negative mitzvah, basically. The Gemara says to listen to everything that Chachamim tell you to do. What's interesting, which also needs to be understood, and it's definitely not for now, La halacha, the poskin, like the Rambam brings down, where the Rambam says, where do we find the mitzvah of making a bracha? So the Rambam brings down the negative mitzvah, leisasur, which is an interesting concept, because in a negative mitzvah you don't make a bracha. So if the mitzvah is not to turn away from anything the Chachamim say, you're still making a bracha. But that's a different discussion, not for now. Okay, then the Gemara says like this. So basically, by the way, this is the answer why all the rabbinic mitzvahs we make a bracha on halal or whatever the rabbinic mitzvah may be. Then the Gemara says like this: Amar Rava said, "Pshitali, it's obvious to me, it's clear. Ner Beisev and Ner Chanukah. What happens if somebody has enough money, either for Shabbos candles or for Chanukah candles? You can't do both. Because you can't light Shabbos, Chanukah candles together, because Chanukah you can't benefit from. And Shabbos candles are there to benefit from. So if somebody is so poor, they only have enough money for one of the two. What? Yeah, but we're talking about the actual, without the Shabbos, we're talking about the actual mitzvah. So the Gemara says, Rabbi said it's given, Ner Beisi Adam Mishum Shalom Beisi. Shabbos candles come first, because that brings peace in the home. Chanukah is not peacing in the home, it's a nice publication of a miracle. So therefore, he paskins like this. If you have Shabbos candles or Chanukah candles, Shabbos candles come first. Ner Beisi v'Kiddush Hayom. What happens if you have a question, you only have enough money, either of Shabbos candles or wine for Kiddush, so then Ner Beisi Adam Mishum Shalom Beisi. There's no question that Shabbos candles come first. Shalom Beisi comes before everything. As the Rambam says in the halachos Chanukah, by the way, that kol ha'Torah kula leinitna ela lasis shalom ba'olam. So the whole thing of candles is to make peace in the world. But now he asks, Boi Rava. Now the question is like this. So we know Shabbos candles come first, then Chanukah candles and Kiddush. So now Rava asks the question, if you have money for wine or for Chanukah candles, which one comes first? Kiddush Yom Adav, do you do Kiddush first? Why to Tadir? Because it's a common event, and we know more common, less common comes first. Or Dilma Ner Chanukah Adav Mishum Persum Minisa. Or maybe Chanukah comes first because it's publication of a miracle. So that was his question. Oh, 1 second. It's okay. 1 second. So the Gemara says, after he asked the question, he answered it himself. Ner Chanukah Adav Mishum Persum Minisa. Chanukah comes first because it's publication of the miracle. Okay? So therefore the order is Shabbos candles, then Chanukah candles, then wine for Kiddush. So the Mefarshim over here discuss, not Taisus, but the Rishonim discuss, you can make Kiddush and Chalas. He's speaking when you don't even have that.